Hey guys, thank you for joining me on another video for the rule of 7. Just for starters, just ignore this. This is recording hyperlapse. Well, it's not recording it's doing a hyperlapse video of Euro USD, so you can kind of quickly scan over it after this video if you need to or whatnot. But yeah, so basically today we're just going to go through Euro USD to see kind of what we're looking, where I personally think we're heading. I mean, it might go the opposite way, but this is from my kind of point of view. I know the light's not on. Hopefully I'm clear enough, but let's crack on with it. Plus I want to try the new camera and the microphone out, so we'll see how those. So right, this is the daily on EU at the minute. Right, we've got some lovely price action here. So for instance, let's drop some lines on. Right, so we've got, obviously, it's an obvious downtrend. We've got a break there. We've got breaks all the way down here. And this is the daily, remember. And what you'll notice is we've actually retapped roughly 50% of these levels. But we don't need to get into that just yet. It's just basically to see kind of where we're at. There's a small break there. But obviously, technically we're waiting for this break here, but I'm very interested in buys soon, and I'll tell you why. Because obviously those of you who have been trading alongside me or followed me for a while, you know that I love to take a trend line out. That is retail. Oh, sell. Oh, we're on the trend line, sell. Oh, we're touching the trend line, sell. We're touching the trend line, sell. There again, and they might have jumped in there for sell. So I'm actually hoping and predicting that we are jumping on buys soon. But we have produced a bit of a trend line there. So let's just put that. That's liquidity. So I do kind of want to see this shift first. I would like to see this shift up here somewhere, and then retrace back down, and then we'll go for an entry, and we'll have some good. Oh, excuse me. We'll have some good buys there. But yeah, let's get rid of that for now. So at the minute, we have all these supply areas. I mean, we don't need to mark them all up, but it's the supply areas that basically created the break. So this supply area pushed through the low and created a new low. This supply area pushed through that low and then created a new low. So what I'm kind of looking for, and this is, don't forget, this is on the daily. So if we just drop down to the 4 hour, oh, voice went there. That'll happen quite a lot. Don't ask me why. Right. So we're on the 4 hour now. When it loads up, there we go. So, come on, speed up, speed up, speed up. Right, here we go. I don't know what's up with this. It seems to be slacking a bit. But anyway, yeah, this is the 4 hour. I'll move my ugly mug to the corner. So yeah, what I'm kind of hoping, so obviously this is the 4 hour. This is the high of the 4 hour that broke the low. So that is the chock. That's the change of character. Those of you who have seen my other video, that explains kind of what the chock is. And obviously we've took the sweep. We've swept the lows there, so that's the sweep. And we now have, so you can see, apart from this candle here, it's not touched this candle. So I'm classing that as imbalance on the daily. Let me move that out over there so we can see the liquidity bit. So yeah, that's imbalance, and then these two sell candles, that's your demand area. So we'll mark that up. I mean, this for me, obviously based on lower time confirmation, this is the best place to get in on buys personally, because I do think we're on a change of direction, because there is so much liquidity here. Sorry for the old sniffling. I have got a cold, but I thought I'd do a video anyway. But yeah, so because of the amount of liquidity here, I mean, it could always shoot up here quite high. We could always shoot up to this supply area, and then we could tap down a bit, and we could keep going up, or we could land down here and drop into this demand. Obviously, there's a lots of could have, if, buts, but that's unfortunately that's the market. If you don't like ifs and buts, then don't become a trader, because it's literally ifs and buts for the whole career, you know. So anyway, so as you can see, I actually got a buy here for a 11R. It was about the size of that 1 4-hour candle, and that's on a previous video. So I'll tap them in somewhere along this video, and you can click on them and have a watch. But yeah, there is imbalance, so which means this low and this low, that is also liquidity. Even though there is a slight sweep, that is still liquidity because there's an imbalance below. But as soon as this kind of breaks this, as soon as it breaks the trend line, obviously it will then retest, and it will make retail start buying. But I personally think we will jump in. If we refine this, we might even tap in to this. We might tap into this supply area and start selling back to this demand zone. So we might go break that, let retail think that we're actually touching the trend line, and we start buying again. We'll give them a little bit of false hope, and then we'll start selling again. And then that will confuse them. They might start buying here again, and then we'll shoot through. We'll either take out the trend line imbalance and then continue higher, or we will literally tap in to the extreme demand zone, take the sweep, and then we'll start making higher highs and higher lows, and before you know it, we're shooting up and we're touching all these supply areas, breaking through them. That's kind of how I reckon. I mean, it might look a bit messy, but that's kind of how I reckon EU is going to go. But obviously I won't be entering until I've got confirmation. There might be some entries. Well, I say there might be. There's entries everywhere. But if we get rid of this on the 15-minute, if we so we know that technically we still are in a sell. We still are in a sell zone, but there's imbalance here and there's a supply zone there. So, and we have got a massive trend line on the daily to take out. So let me jump on the 15-minute, and let's jump back into full screen. Give it a second to load. Hopefully the next video I do as well, I've not got a cold, because it's doing my head in. But yeah. So right, here's the 15-minute zoomed in at the minute. So let's see what we got. So we've swept all these lows with this, and then in the same, so that is the sweep on the 15-minute. And then we've actually, this is the high that made the sweep. So that is the chalk for me at the minute. This is telling me that it might actually keep continuing higher, like maybe into this refined order block area. But obviously to jump on sells again, well buys and sells, I will be looking for lower confirmation. We'll see where this starts making lower lows. So have we swept? Yep. So that's actually created a higher high there. If we zoom in, we've swept that. So if we when this works, right, if we take this low that created the high, then I will be classing that as the top, and then we use the 50% marker. This area is the ideal That is the ideal. That is the discount zone, and we have got imbalance here. But if it actually shows, so there's your imbalance. If it actually shows me within this whole area that we're making higher highs and higher lows, then I will jump in. We can actually, obviously, for us to class this as a high, this low that created that high needs to be broke. So I will be waiting patiently for that. But let's just drop down on the 5 minute. It would be nice to get a 1 minute entry on this, and then obviously you know that you can get more R&R with a 1 minute entry. Let me zoom out a little bit. We've gone a bit mad here, right? So yeah, I mean, you've got the very extreme here, as you can see. You've got this very extreme demand zone. So I don't know if I can personally see it coming down to that, because just from past data, we don't always touch the extreme. But if I don't get confirmation either on this one, which would be the next one I'd be concentrating at, that's ideal, because that will be in the discount area. That'll be the first demand zone in the discount. We could probably refine that to a smaller, to a 1 minute block, but we won't refine that at the minute. This is obviously all if this low that created the sweep, if that gets took now, then we will look at a change of hands either here, or we'll take the imbalance out here. So what it will look like is, so let's imagine that that is the high, that is the sweep, and we keep coming down lower. We break this low. I'll be looking at a change. I'll be looking at sweeping the low, and then in one swoop taking the high that created the sweep, and then I'll be looking at a 1 minute entry thereabouts, and obviously aiming at least for the top, and then we'll be aiming for more for these supply areas, which is obviously on a higher time frame. So you want your bias on a higher time frame, but you want your entry on a lower time frame. So yeah, it could do that, or the second option, this might get messy, but bear with me. So let's do it right here. So this shoots through here. We give you a false high there, people buy, but we take them out, and then we just tap that. We create a chock, and then we start making higher highs and higher lows, and then before you know it, then we're going up. But if I don't get that confirmation, I won't enter. If it doesn't make higher highs there, then more than likely we're going to take this trend line liquidity out, and we're going to tap into some of this imbalance. We might not hit the extreme 4 hour block, but we might take the liquidity trend line out. So if we just zoom back out and we jump on the let's try the 15 minute. So ignore them arrows for now, but what we could do is potentially, so do you remember this is the 4 hour trend line? I need to find somehow to get this speeding up a little bit. But yeah, so what you might find is we might come down from this level thereabouts. We might take the trend line liquidity out, and then we might not even hit the demand, as long as we've tapped into the imbalance, and then we start making a chock, and then higher highs, higher lows. That might be it. It might not come down to this very extreme for days, weeks, months. You know, it might not tap into that for ages. So you've just got to make sure you get the change of character on the lower time frame. So imagine if that happens, that would be your chock. So that's your change of character. So then you could enter here, or if there is imbalance, you could enter at the extreme of the 1 minute. So that might actually go there and take out the liquidity there if there is imbalance there. But you can cover this low anyway, just to cover you back. Or you wait for you wait for the flip to happen, and then yeah, and then you can jump on that. If there's no imbalance there and this is the flip, then you can then jump on the order block there, and then it will then look like that. But yeah, so it's all kind of just, obviously you've got to wait for the market, you've got to let the market do what it wants. As long as you have a higher time frame narrative, you know where it should be going or where it wants to go, and then yeah, lower time entries. So hopefully that, I know it looks a bit messy now, but hopefully it actually makes sense. Yeah, so I'll leave that with you guys, and I will see you on the next one.